What's up everyone, welcome to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I am Shade Sayer. Joining me as always is OG the Low-Res Chicken. Day 8 beckons upon us. First matchup is going to be Playmakers versus XOD Gaming. But before we jump to that, a huge shout out to Dell Futurist for making this happen. For all you gamers out there who want to take your passion for gaming and convert that into a career, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform. Sign up with us. Do check out the mentor sessions online as well to learn about the various opportunities that are available in the field of gaming. If you're not from gaming, Dell Futurist does support a variety of other passion fields as well, whether it is arts, music, or sustainability. This is the best place to be. There's quite a bit of awesome matches we've witnessed so far, OG, throughout this entire tournament, but things are just about getting heated up as we prep for the round of 32. Playmakers versus XOD. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, like you said, Shade, when we head deeper into this tournaments, we can expect really intense matchups. We've seen from multiple occasions teams that we might not even know, for the matter of fact, can in fact pull off quite the big upset, and boy oh boy does that keep me on the edge of my seat, especially in this tournament. Shade, we have a lot of new participants who might not have as much of a tournament experience as you would the veterans, but this is their chance and they're certainly making the best use of it so far in the tournament.
They are indeed. Playmakers have had good runs so far. I believe they took down Vectors in the round before, and in the previous round, it was a pretty close affair up against White Shadow Esports. So without further ado, it is time to get into this match. Playmakers starting off on the CT side. Decent bit of utility here. 2 flashbangs and a kit onto Deception, while Xtreme Outcast Demolition, 1 smoke and the 1 flash as they look to charge down mid here. Tap, 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 nothing going the way of the CTs. They've lost 3 frags in the blink of an eye. Make that 4. Reborn, completely smoked out in a 1v5 situation. It is Xtreme Outcast through the smoke.
What do we just see?
Well, that was as fast of a pistol round as we can get, OG.
Quite right there, Shade. Playmaker, regardless which fight they took, they just got simply outdueled. It didn't even seem fair to some extent, but Xtreme Outcasts come in on the top of every single gunfight and they win the pistol completely flawlessly, in fact. It's Playmakers who have to be on the USB, but we've seen Playmakers on multiple occasions pull this off with pistols, right? Granted, this is just vanilla pistols, but you can take nothing away from them. We've seen throughout the tournament, in fact, where these pistols have found a lot of impact in very crucial stages of the game in that as well. Turning the momentum would certainly be something that Playmakers are going to come in expecting. Vishu, beautiful triple kill with the Magna, just farming up that moolah for darker days to come. Is he going to be gifted the ace is the question. The 2 players are right in detonating, and he sets himself up for the ace. Is he going to get stolen? WD? Certainly looks like that, Baba. T2000 and it's going to be the ace. You know, coming into this game, I didn't expect the highlight gun this fast, but Xtreme Outcast certainly delivering in all fronts, only losing 1 member in the past 2 rounds. Playmakers, on the other hand, they've gone on the complete investment here, Shade. The one thing that worries me about this investment is A, they do not have diffuse kits, B, utility is going to be at an all-time low, and C, both Reborn and Abstract still have only Kevlar without head armor, which means both Vishnu and Zalid's Mac 10 is gonna be proven lethal even from a little bit of further distance if blown a headshot.
The Buster gets taken down, and now it's all down to Abstract. Is getting swarmed in from 2 directions. He gets the 1, turns around, gets the 2nd as well. Just about keeps Playmakers still in this, but they still have to go for the retake. That smoke does give an opening here for Deception, goes for the pre-fire. A second off the timing there, else he would have had the player towards Car, but instead the cities are falling behind. They called the save early on. B-site is so hard to retake, especially when the T's do have a fair bit of utility to prevent the CTs from making that entrance either through doors or window.
And the added disadvantage that Playmakers did not invest in the kit considering they forced. So it definitely is the right call to make because they can still do damage this round, right? Where they potentially could drop over a couple of SMGs to both Buster and Abstracts with them investing in more utility. It certainly can make ends meet, but Xtreme have been so on point right now that East side, it looks really, really polished, but we're yet to see a response from Playmakers, and the half is very young, so do expect some kind of response, because I doubt Playmakers are going to tap out of this without a fight. They, at least seeing both the names on these teams, granted they might be more known to people who pug rather than watch tournaments, they're dead even, both in terms of aim and game. RC, in fact, almost could have landed himself the double spray. That's a decent bit of damage on Baba, but they have control towards long here, Playmakers. And so far, Xtreme Outcast, they don't really have that urge to contest. Buster. Brislow with the deagle, the flick does connect on a Baba. Abstract needed to land a couple of tags there, and Vishnu on the screen since the start of the game. Baba trying to spray his way through the smoke, does a decent bit of damage on a Sullied, and now the back from Deception will net him the bag, but it's still a 2 versus 3 on the B side. The only difference here though is there is a flash and a kit on the Deception. It is doable here, Shade, but undoubtedly hard.
Yeah, 2v3, B side yet again, but I believe they've had enough of saving it right now. They're going to try and catch them off guard, and they get the opening kill, and almost the second here, he's going to try and stick the defuse.
Ooh, just the second of the defuse. WD peeks wide from tunnels, and that's the round secured for Xtreme Outcast. If Playmakers had that man neutralizer at least come in before the retake shit, that would have been doable. But added on with the man disadvantage, it felt like a Hail Mary play, which it certainly was, and Playmakers still not in a position where they'll have to eco. In fact, they're pulling off the double op setup, which on Duster's CD side is quite viable, cutting down 2 long-range engagements. Might be towards A long, might be towards B, but this is the problem here. With the rush towards B, it's going to be very hard for Buster to even try and accomplish much if he doesn't get adequate cover, which Abstract does perfectly provide. Buster, he's going to try and watch the wide swing, but he's a little too late. There we go. The double op chiming in, the rotations coming in earlier than expected, and Playmakers finally net themselves around on the board. Xtreme Outcast, though, they've done a really good job with discipline on their T side, so they will be able to reinvest without a doubt. It's going to be on the plight for Playmakers here to pull off this round and make sure that they approach an equalizer, or else they're going to be both dead broke and far behind rounds before the half even starts to take shape.
Well, Playmakers do get themselves on the scorecard, but Xtreme have looked pretty strong early on. Buster, however, stepping up with the AWP here, does get the pick out in mid. WD unable to offer a counter frag. Deception, though, holds position. Mid has been an avenue that XOD have been trying to hit very often, and an AWP, they're positioned early to ensure that XOD can't really do anything fast. They go looking for for shot control here. 2 players towards long, Reborn as well as Deception have their eyes primed in. Baba the Beast fully committed towards the long doors here, where we do have RC, who's probably going to look to burst open late.
He's expecting the short play to try and buy a little bit of bait from Baba. But with the double setup here, I doubt that's going to be the case. In fact, it's Xtreme double downing on their luck and hoping that this push towards short actually yields in way of success. Baba anticipating the push from RC, and the op just cuts them by half. The flash and Reborn control the white swing, but he did get flash from his own teammate though. Deception, what a flick! Beautiful stuff with the AWP, as it's all left on a Vishnu. Goes in, actually finds that down on the Deception, but it's still 1 versus 4. Optimism is one thing, but being overzealous is another. And Vishnu ran out of air and confidence at that point. 2-4. Playmakers starting to make their way back in this game, and this is why I said that today might be an action-packed day, Shade. Both the matches that we have lined up for you guys are pretty darn close in terms of skill matchup. Expect to see this coming down to the wire, and we already got off to a good start with the momentum swing now favoring Playmakers. Surprisingly, it's still Playmakers taking the timeout though.
Yeah, I think it's just a question of just wanting to calm things down. The buy round shouldn't be in this time from the tees. They're pretty much about $2,200 across. So unless it is maybe a player wanting to fix something and having called the tack pause instead of the tack. The other thing, of course, might be the fact that XOD might try something cheesy here with the pistols, and the CTs just want to compose themselves up. We've seen the number of rounds where the pistols just outdo the rifles, OG. We've sung stories in its glory as much as we can, and this is the switch up here. They have the tag team towards short, and they have the boost. This boost might just work out right now. Reborn just about misses the tees getting in position. Deception, I think, has already got the tag, and there's the opener. Reborn.
Beautiful stuff. The man advantage now as Xtreme Outcast start to lose that early bit of gold that they still get, right, on the back of that pistol victory. Playmakers certainly showing that they're in it to win it. But with 4 deagles, though, they still do a decent bit of damage. Beautiful flick, Baba. It's actually Baba on cover duty, my bad. Regardless, Vishnu finds the frag towards side. And they're trying their very best to try and get safe passage, potentially to get the bomb down. But what goes down, though, is their hopes and dreams of getting it. 3-4. The bomb not being planted, which means Xtreme Outcasts could go in the force, but they'll be missing really vital pieces of utility, namely the Molotov. In fact, there's none on the side of Xtreme Outcast to speak of. There is the AWP, though, on a WD. What do you think, Shay? On a map like Dust 2, would you rather have the AWP on the T side or have a little more utility make way across the room?
I think they want to have the AWP to challenge the AWP at mid, because Deception has been doing this time and again, right? And has gone completely unanswered.
Now the Molly should bait the peek from WD. It actually does explode right above his face. Finds up the smoke, but again, it's a 2-man advantage with WD being so dead low. With the long flank coming in, Shade, this is going to be done in Dust 4 before we even know it. Baba, beautiful flank, completely undetected, and Xtreme Outcasts left his cover to his tunnels and pray that they get a miraculous opening towards Buster, who has been very patient in his approach so far. Now that they realize that hits towards B, Deception's on the early rookie with the AWP. Beautiful flick. This man is so consistent with the AWP. It's a beauty to watch, Shade. It's a damn near beautiful setup. Sully, he does get the frag on a Deception. They know exactly where Abstract's coming from. That won't change things though. 4-4. Xtreme Outcasts. They lose momentum, they lose that early lead they've gotten, and now Playmakers on an equal footing. Only 9 rounds in, Shane, and things have gotten this heated. It's turning out to be a pretty good start of the week.
It is a close affair so far, as Xtreme Outcast Demolition, they start off strong, but it has been Playmakers ever since. The AWP from Deception has been pivotal so far. He's been getting the picks needed. Reborn has had a couple of amazing rounds himself. The T's, they've tried to force mid on a few occasions here, OG. Not really coming out on top on many of them. I think it's time for them to change the approach a bit, and they go for the challenge again. They've been guilty of doing that on multiple occasions now. There's almost always a CT holding that angle, whether it's a rifle or an AWP, but they've not done much in terms of challenging that. And Solid
beautiful stuff. What an opener towards the A side. That's how you crack an egg open. And so far, the defense, it looks to be omelet. Buster, close to the response though. Playmakers, using the utility to perfection, drawing them out, but that's where they go down, out in the open and in the middle of nowhere. Now it's a 2 versus 2, though it's the advantage going the way of Xtreme Outcast. Even with the op, they are stellar on the whole. Mind you, Tempa does not have a rifle, and he needs to play off Sullied here. He needs to give Sullied sufficient space and time. Reborn, patience with the trigger, knows exactly what Sully's praying for. Oh, through the luck. He anticipated that, a little bit of panic. But I guess his nerves played him right on that one. 5-4, Playmakers. It's been 5 rounds back to back, strung together on the CT side, where Xtreme Outcasts, they had a real good start of the game. Now everything's fallen flat with them being on the back foot. Another investment comes in courtesy of the bomb plan with WB back on the op. A ton of utility to complement it as well. But Playmakers look to be the dominant side so far, and the double op setup might just be the answer to what Xtreme Outcast had to say in the early game, Shade.
Well, he almost let go of mouse 1 there, and the round with that, but he's able to quickly readjust, get the spray in. We had almost preemptively expected the play to be the WD though. Big pick towards mid. It's a fight that they've not won quite a bit, and Buster has given up his cards, shows himself a second too early, and now it's down to Abstracts. He's pretty much all alone. In no scope, point blank range doesn't work.
And now the save.
Yeah, you call it early save here. There's no money in the bank. It's just Abstracts who's sitting on about $3,700.
I mean, Playmakers still could invest in that op setup because Reborn has so much money that he can drop Buster. You still continue it though. Have Xtreme Outcast Demolition found that one breaking point, or did this just come down to the aim deals not being won, but the strat being, at least in my opinion, decent enough? Because so far, with the aggressive stance that Xtreme Outcast Demolition have been taking, it is easily punishable with this double op setup. But you'll need to be really smart in where you dodge utility and position yourself. So far, it seems like Xtreme Outcast Demolition have found the answer to what Playmakers 5 have come in with the double op setup. I still feel though that this initial 5 rounds that Xtreme Outcast Demolition did get might just be enough to save them just a little bit of skin. Playmakers need to start making their way back into this game now. They will come in with the investment, and whoever wins this round, Shade, it's gonna mean a significant lead going their way. But Xtreme Outcast Demolition, they're still in with the better economy, so you slightly have to favor them in this margin.
Right now, Xtreme Outcast, they win 1 round, but that pretty much came down to that opening duel they managed to win out at mid OG. That's a fight that both teams have been trying to force round after round, and Playmakers have won that almost every single time. That time around, it was WD who's able to drop Buster. He almost gets caught there. Unfortunately, the T's weren't feeling as adventurous there to chase, but a quick change up in the attack here for the T's as they've taken control of long this time around. Playmakers still have the 2 CTs towards short, and Baba the Beast playing all the way back from CT entrance. A pretty passive hold, no one really up on the site just yet, and if Abstract doesn't really fall back before the utility comes in, I don't think they're going to be able to stop Xtreme right here. Abstract does hold the cross. He's a little late on the utility. Baba the Beast, however, patience here, waits till the very last second, peeks out at the worst time. The first kill, however, returned by Abstract. But this is the key here on the retake. Deception is gonna look to peek this. There is Temper holding it on the side.
Oh no, the flash is dead giveaway. Now, with the long setup, it's almost impossible, but a beautiful blind shot from Deception nets him a kill on a Temper. The man advantage neutralizing WD with Yop shuts the retake down even before it gave birth to any kind of success. Sully, at range, gets the spray in the nick of time. 6-5. Xtreme Outcast finally have the response for Playmakers. With their economy being dead broke, this sets up Xtreme Outcast Demolition to at least meet their fair share of quota on their T side. After that, though, they can start negotiating for even more. So a lot of this has to be on Playmakers. They are the ones who need to keep this one competitive. Again, it's a pistol investment. We've seen this go down south so many times. This could potentially be one of them as well. But with the way Playmakers are grouped up. Oh, what the hell just happened? Abstract! What a beast! 3 kills with a P250. And he's given Playmakers a chance into this one. It's Baba with both armor and deagle. RC. He's quick to his shore to try and punish any gun pickup. Perfectly read from RC. He knew exactly what he needed to do there, because as soon as the gun came into the hands of Baba the Beast, he's a very big and lingering threat, even whilst on the hold for Xtreme Outcast Demolition. So he aggresses at the perfect moment, holds the perfect angle, and is rewarded with extra IR in his pocket. 7-5. Xtreme Outcast Demolition have gotten what I consider the fair share of rounds. It typically could hang around 8-7 shade. I feel like Dusty is a map that would be more balanced than others in terms of which side it does favor. It comes down more so to that utility and the aggressive stance that we keep talking about, right? Going hand in hand. Playmakers. Very desperate buy. And RC already finds the opener towards short, which will spread the defense very thin. The rotations are going to be a mile away. It's going to be the B side under siege, and the two players here need to go above and beyond. Buster, in fact, doubling up. He has been a pivotal part of this hold. The backstab stabs them deep into their heart, as it's all left on a WD with the op. The bomb, not within arm's reach and abstracts. That's just about enough on the B side. That came down to the wire shade, but the push through the smoke, high risk, yet reaps high rewards.
Yeah, the smoke towards the B doors, and the T's decide not to push that but through window instead, and that delayed the push just about enough for Playmakers to turn in with the numbers for that backstab through mid. And 6th round on the board here. Xtreme, after a couple of fast rounds that time around, they get shut down pretty early towards mid. Buster still here with the AWP, and looks like Xtreme Outcast Demolition are not about to give up mid control just yet. Baba, however, does get the pick. Aggressive push through long. He's been patiently waiting towards that area of the map, waiting for, in fact, the T's to move on the aggressive. Decides to take it upon himself that one single round. It pays off, but why peek that? Reborn had no backup in place. That was the very low percentage play attempted there, and that is going to give XOD pretty much the round here. 1v3 on the retake. It's going to be almost an impossible ask with the kind of utility that CTs are packing right now. AWP spots the first player out. He goes for the no-scope. Second no-scope. Nah.
Doesn't connect. Xtreme Outcast Demolition, where it felt like they might have lost a grip of this game, they came right back in it, winning the 8 rounds they've secured so far. Playmakers, they desperately need this last round in the first half, but they don't have enough money to even pull out a single. Actually, it's only Abstract with the M4, the Clarion on a Baba the Beast. Utility, they're making ends meet here, although they do lack a defuse kit, which has come to haunt them pretty hard in the past. They do end up finding the opener. The deception downs RC, and now with complete control towards upper tunnels, it's almost transparent that the hits towards A. Baba is just waiting for that one flash. The secondary flash gets thrown, and this is why Baba plays aggressively. Oh, wait, oh!
He stood atop the player there. OG almost drops his microphone in excitement, but
What did I just see? I mean, we're used to seeing that in highlight videos and blooper reels, but never in my dreams would I have thought that whilst casting a tournament, somebody could come in with such a Super Smash Bros. Move in Counter-Strike. That was literally stepping on, I think that is, what's that hero's name? So, what's that character's name where he's pink and he, like, tries to suck up everything? I'm a little loose in my memory in this department.
I'm trying to remember the same as well, but I'm pretty much shooting blanks like you are, OG. It was a pretty interesting move to say the least. You can't get shot if you're literally standing on the guy, so. But jokes apart.
Hey, it works, it works.
Jokes apart, it did work, and XOD do get their 9th round on the board to close out the half. 5 T's towards long. Playmakers. 2 smokes and a flashbang, so they've got a bit of utility to take away some of this vision from RC, but he peeks long and he still continues to fire away. He did have backup from Sullied, and he gets only the one. In comes a charge, but the headshot.
Nasty! Boy, is that a kiss that you not like to get? Jesus Christ, Solid! This is too much of a roller coaster for me, Shade. Xtreme Outcast, Demolition. I know where they get the name from. They're just demolishing the hopes and dreams of Playmakers here. And boy, we've seen a couple of games come out from Playmakers. They are, without a doubt, a promising and up-and-coming team, right? Xtreme Outcast Demolition, though, they just seem to be far ahead. Not in terms of the scoreline, but just in terms of that synergy and their calling. It just makes so much more of a fluid game style than what Playmakers are bringing in here. But hey, you gotta attribute some of this to luck, right? Where those random smoke pushes, they often don't work. There is like a 1 in 10 chance that there's not gonna be men looking towards the smoke. But kudos to Xtreme Outcast to take those calls, and hey, by taking them, you reap all the benefits, right? The Molotov is absolutely perfect. Playmaker 5. They get made into toast. Xtreme Outcast Demolition. They're putting on quite the derby here today for us, Shade. They're putting quite the derby here.
Pistol and the subsequent round taken here by XOD. Playmakers on the eco. 11-6. XOD have gotten off to a strong start here in the second half. Out towards long, we do have 3 players contesting this time around. Contrast to what we saw in the last half, OG. Mid is completely vacant. No one really is challenging that. It was an area that both teams heavily contested round after round. But in the second half, the T's have shown an inkling to head towards long a wee bit more. And I think XOD comes in with the readjustment early in that round, where they do put out 3 players in that direction. Not sure if Playmakers spotted that at the start of that round, since we did have a reset, but if they do take the pistols there, XOD should have the better of Playmakers pretty easily this round. Also taking into consideration the fact that Playmakers are probably not going to be bringing out much in terms of firepower as well. $2,700 across the board. Maybe a couple of deagles in to try and make things interesting, but by and large, these SMGs are going to be looking to farm up more money, OG.
They should. And what do you do here if you're Playmakers 5? Playmakers 5, because you're gonna be in a situation where you can buy the next round, but many of the strats that they might want to pull off is gonna be pretty futile against the utility usage we've seen so far from Xtreme Outcast Demolition. We might just see them take things a little slower here, but we have seen these Deagle in action. So even doubting them is coming as a grim thought in my mind. So far, I feel like Playmakers have had a really good tournament run. They've definitely come out the door besting a couple of these teams in quite a dominant fashion shade. In fact, they had quite the game on Mirage prior, a 16-4 scoreline, if I'm not mistaken, with a lot of absurd plays being made. It's simply not the same Playmakers we're seeing now, right? It feels like they might just not be in their mojo. And we've seen this time and again online, where it just takes a couple of rounds and the momentum to sway to make sure that your men get both the charisma and that positive attitude to get back and keep hustling through these rounds step by step. Before you know it, they'd walk the long mile and come back would very near be a reality. It does seem like Playmakers have one man dropped out. Let's hope that it's not as serious of an issue. Maybe it's just a restart of the game that requires a little bit of fixing. And Xtreme Outcast Demolition, some of these players here do seem familiar. Solid, in fact, has been a player who's come down to LAN a couple of times back at 2018. Temper and Vishnu both are relatively newer players when it comes to having tournament experience, but when it comes to delivering in game, they certainly do have that caliber and that potential in them. WD and RC, though, certainly are opening eyes, especially considering WD's contribution throughout the game. 14 frags so far, which is only second to Sullied on the CD side with 20 frags. Certainly coming out with lights out performance here against Playmakers. We've seen some of these players from Playmakers go absolutely massive, right? Buster, in fact, has looked really good with the AWP throughout the entirety of the tournament. Baba the Beast, not a name that many people might be familiar with, but his firepower, it's pretty much there. So if you're Xtreme Outcast Demolition now, the one thing that should be in your mind is choke them. Do not give them any room to work with, because we've seen this in the past on multiple occasions, right? Once the teams do get a lead and start getting comfortable, they give away that one or two crucial rounds. And with that, they might just lose everything that they've worked so hard to gain so far.
Well, we do have abstracts reconnecting back into the server. 11-6 Playmakers. It's time for them to start worrying about this game, OG. It's a best of one elimination matchup, and they're falling behind pretty quickly. It's been a string of rounds going the way of XOD. 4 consecutive rounds, 7 of the last 8.
And the important part here is they got the second half pistol, right? So they're getting their CT side economy on the right foot here, because we know how easy, right, it's to break the CT side economy and make sure that the CTs have next to nothing when it comes to trying to reinvest, where on the T side it becomes a little less of a hurdle and a little less of a headache. But that defensive smoke is a little late, which has allowed a couple of members of Playmakers to get aggressive. Vishnu, though, absolutely brutal spray with the MP9, most than down CQC. They do end up finding a kill each here, at least the remnant of Playmakers. They might as well just turn things around. Shade, beautiful headshot coming in from Reborn. This leaves him in a 1 versus 2, but he has a duel whipped out. Just a little iffy on utility there. Could have committed for the wide swing and tried finding the kill, but hey, luck is simply not on their side at the moment. 12-6, Xtreme Outcast Demolition gonna be up against by Deception He's on the AWP, and this might be the difference maker here, Shade. On the CT side, Deception had a really good time with the op. We saw on a couple of occasions where he stepped up massively for his team. Now, on the T side, when his team beckons for some sort of hope, some sort of ray at the end of the tunnel, he needs to be the one that provides it all. They do take control towards long, and they have abstract towards tunnels to perhaps come in as a late lurk or even try and deny rotations. Temper is going to be holding that smoke, and the peak is going to come in through pit. Deception is more than ready for this. Temper, he senses that discomfort though. Now with the boost up, this double up setup was not really in the best position, Shade, because they're setting up for the retake, right? And whilst on the retake, the op, not really the best of weapons to have on your arms. Do you think that if Xtreme, Outcast, Demolition wait this out a little more, they potentially could be the one in the disadvantage a little later on?
Well, the nade out, the timing is going to be crucial. Vishnu's boosted up, and he's getting pre-fired here at the moment. He drops another smoke. 3 T's grouping up. They've spotted him just as the smoke blooms out. Vishnu has done a decent bit of damage, and Sullied is there in position with the counter incendiary.
But he whiffed it. He used it in a second early. Oh no. That Molotov is very crucial because it would have bought an extra perhaps 7 seconds. With the secondary molly being deployed as well, it would have boiled things down very uncomfortably here for Playmakers, who now might be able to get some sort of entry towards the A sides. The bomb headed that direction. Temper, he's down at 18 HP, but he's still alive and kicking with the AWP on the white swing, but Deception catches him off. Vishnu, the only M4 left standing on the side of Xtreme Outcast, till gonna be known though, as he did get the frag prior, but Baba's at least looking a little iffy and ends up paying the price for it. Deception and Buster gonna be on the hold. Buster's the one with low HP, and Deception with the op on high HP is trying here to play on post plant. It's all about how much time and opportunity that Buster can buy, and he spotted out WD. Beautiful shot, and they should have an inkling that the last play is towards long. Vishnu, op in hand, Deception moving the angle. Beautiful flick. Playmakers, exactly the round they needed, and the op is all the difference maker here, Shade. Xtreme Outcast Demolition. The double op setup is far too expensive, and it might just cost them here on the reinvestment, as they will be short on a couple of rifles and maybe even a Molotov or two.
Nine to 7. 12 to 7 rather. Xtreme, they've got the opener towards long. Looks like the T's want to charge up early out at long, but the op getting taken out, and with that the C4 needs to be recollected back out. The CTs again get the early man advantage. Playmakers, after Deception clutches that close round out earlier, now they find themselves again in trouble. The long hit, however, has been doing pretty decent for Playmakers in the fact that they've been able to win out some of these duels, and for the most part of it keep that AWP at site at bay, but this time it is towards the B site instead. Shot hold continues to be 2-man strong here. Buster looking the other way. Temper, he's got a couple of players in backup, and yep, they do spot out the C4. No reason to overcome it in for that third frag in yet again.
It was too long though. Baba, he has the op in his position to strike. Beautiful. Out of nowhere, the numbers just get thinned down to absolutely nothing for Playmakers to take home with. And now they fancy a 2 versus 2 retake. This is going to be pretty hard, Shade, because WD with the op again needs to try and come up massive, where Baba, he's positioned himself towards long. Abstract, this time he's going to try and play towards Goose, a more concealed position, and one where he stands a chance of not being tested, as it's going to be all the pressure towards long. RC tries to go on the clear, and WD close range with the op misses a crucial shot that he absolutely needed to connect if he had to have any chance in this. It's going to be Xtreme Outcast Demolition though, who do end up throwing that round away. And this is exactly what I talked about in the first half, Shade. You give some of these teams those 1 or 2 rounds, and they're going to be right behind your tail in the matter of no time. Soon, what was your comfort zone starts to make you sweat, and nobody likes to be all that sweaty, right? You need to have as much of an advantage when it comes to CS just to prevent that mental stress that does inevitably end up forcing you into making those wrong decisions, the misplays. In fact, we've seen quite a bit of this trend online, right? Where even storied organizations do end up going down to what we'd consider underdogs. And even in terms of this matchup, where we have on the side of Playmakers a couple of names that we might know and a little less on the side of Xtreme Outcast Demolition, it just turns to be one very, very cutthroat affair until we reach a stage in the tournament where we have best of threes to make sure it's a little more comfortable for both the teams walking in. It's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to be very stressful for all these teams to navigate through such a stacked tournament as well.
Yeah, I do believe the best of threes are going to come in from the semifinals onwards. So it's still a fair bit of distance to go for both these teams before they do make it there. Right now it is XOD back onto just the mere pistols. They're stacked up towards mid while the T's have already walked themselves into an empty B-bomb site. The C4 should make that rotate across, leaving behind Buster alone to try and get as many frags as he can. They've left behind the AWP though. Solid on chase. He's gonna get the job. Double headshot. AWP recovered.
They should be able to recover yet another rifle, but the question here is, do you go for it? It seems like Xtreme Outcast like to chance it. WD, if he gets that early frag, maybe you call the retake, but if he doesn't, you just run for the hills. It seems like the call for the save is already given as Sully heads towards T-spawn, and the time, considering that they do not have a defuse kit, is already ticked relatively low. A good decision to opt for the save, and mind you, all the big guns that Playmakers came in this round with have now switched hands over to Xtreme Outcast Demolition. In fact, it's a free op that's gifted to them. We've seen what WD can do with the op shade, and it, quite frankly, frightens me a little bit, because the CT side op on Dust 2 is what I'd consider far more powerful than the T side one.
Well, the buy comes in for XOD, but Playmakers are hot on the chase here. They've got 3 rounds on the trot themselves. A pretty back and forth affair, similar to quite a few games that we witnessed earlier in the BO1s. Like you said, it does end up giving you the goosebumps and working on your nerves time and again. But the pre-fire is through deception. Look to play around the smoke. There is an aggressive player. He gets only the 1 though. Abstracts.
He hears the man. Buster hears the rotation through CT as well. Right now, he can give the call to head towards mid to B. They have 2 smokes here, Shade. They have their window of opportunity open. But they are playing this one relatively slow. Okay, I think they're coming in with something creative here. We saw the other day where that mid to B was complemented with the jump down CT from short. Are we going to see that happen though? Because the bomb is a mile behind Playmakers, and they need to get the bomb, also control of the site, and safe passage for the bomb thereafter. Snoop on the edge of the smoke, and he nets himself 2 comfortable frags. Is this gonna be Xtreme Outcast Demolition finally breaking the momentum that Playmakers have been coming in with in the second half? Or is Playmakers, with the economy that they did muster up, they might be able to get 2 AKs and they might be able to force shade. It's a low percentage play, but we've seen Xtreme Outcast Demolition reap their reward, so Playmakers might just be tempted here.
Yeah.
Nah, they're going to be disciplined. Good to see.
With 13 rounds on XOD, I don't think Playmakers are going to look to gamble here this time around. They decide to do the smart thing. They have, however, pistols and 3 flashbangs. So this is all the makings of a fast rush coming through. But CTs, they've put in the numbers towards the A site. They're playing 4 in this direction. Unfortunately, Playmakers guessed wrong, but they still have the numbers to turn around and change their avenue of attack here. Looks like they're not going to force the issue towards A, but instead regroup back out. C4 is towards long, and looks like they want to try and challenge Temper up at pit, who's got a couple of flashbangs himself. Out at pit, he can buy himself enough time to maybe isolate these engagements, but he peeks out, pulls out the flashbang. He has the crossfire from long though, and we will see Sullied get ready for this. From afar, the jump down, just enough cover provided, and Baba the Beast is going to be left with an all-to-do. Deagle alone, 1v4.
That's a little disappointing. It still is only the pistol investment that they did lose, so now comes the real round. At least that's what I'd suppose. Buster still doesn't have money though. Are Playmakers okay, for a second I thought Playmakers are considering giving away map and match point and trying to play 6 rounds behind. Not gonna be the case. Right now it's gonna be do or die. Playmakers, I really hope they do shake, because it'd be a pretty disappointing finish to the tournament if they do go out in this fashion. They've been looking really strong so far, and Xtreme, Outcast, Demolition, it seems like they're the response to what Playmakers cannot overcome, because they've been posting really good results, and now with a commitment to his shot, Sullied and Vishnu to shut things pretty easily. W holds the push towards mid, misses a flick, tries to recompose himself with a beat of 50, but the jump is going to punish him. The man advantage still in the favor of Xtreme, and they double up on their luck. It's all going to be on the B side hit, where RC is the sole defender. We've seen those B side turn games around. If they get this entry on RC, it's more than doable. They don't have utility on the cross though. They still will make it across the other side. The retake effort coming in quickly from Playmakers. The flash atop the sky. Vishnu going to be on the early peak. Are they going to expect this? No is the answer. Tries to go for the insane freeze after, but it just doesn't connect. Baba needed to go massive to find that clutch and keep Playmakers in it to win it. But that's going to be Xtreme, Outcast, Demolition hitting map and match point shade. Do you see a redemption story here for Playmakers, or is this going to be what would consider at least a smooth sail for Xtreme, Outcast, Demolition?
6 match points, money, not looking great either for Playmakers. The odds are heavily stacked against them here. They do manage to pull out the 1 AK onto Baba the Beast. He's been their top fragger and their best performer so far, and they're gonna have to hope that he can make something happen here. The AWP from Sullied finds the opener. He finds the second, that would have been it. Almost lines them up for the collateral. Flashes out. Vishnu, little late on the incendiary here, and they might just find themselves a chance back into this. Temper, big fight won there.
He holds down to it short, and he gets Buster as well. Massive stuff coming in from him. Through the smoke, Baba finds Sully, but the man disadvantage on the whole, and Temper has the Molotov, so plant a thing of dreams as of now. More time bought is the more time RC has on the flank, but he ends up giving away the jiggle a little too early. Now, the man equalizer and WD lining up the flash. Temper, 21 HP, but he's gonna be in it and potentially try to get that opener that they so desperately need through the box. Deception gets tagged and gets back. It's all gonna be on a Baba. Tempo was low from the get-go. WD, this is his chance to send them packing. 16-9, Xtreme, Outcast, Demolition. Find the game here on Dust 2. WD hits the defuse, and this sadly will be the end of Playmakers' run in this tournament. Undoubtedly a good run they've had so far, but they still have a lot to prove, and hey, I guess if they keep going at it the way they did in this tournament, the next couple of months might just be a little kind to them.
Yeah, Playmakers, unfortunately, that comeback attempted at the second part of their first half didn't really see the light of day enough. They did try to get a few rounds in the second half. I believe they picked up 3 rounds during the second half in one stretch, but never really could continue with that momentum, with XOD stepping things up while it mattered. 16-9. The scoreline doesn't really do justice though. That match was a lot closer, OG.
Exactly, a lot of close situations lost, and minute errors did get punished. So I'm really happy that Playmakers 5 had this good of a run, but they could have had a little better. At least that's what in the back of my mind.
All right, with that, we're going to take a quick break. This is the Dell Futurist presents Alienware Level Up Challenge. I'm Shetsaya. That is OG, the low-res chicken. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back shortly with more matches, so don't go anywhere. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shesay. Joining me back is OG Dolores Chicken. OG, what are your expectations from this next match? It is BHAMRAT Gaming versus ACME. BHAMRAT, a team that we've seen quite a bit recently as well as over the last year. They've seen quite a bit of success in the Indian Counter-Strike scene under the organization T9. They've changed up the roster a little bit, but most of these are familiar faces who have now pretty much taken a step towards getting to the elites group of the Indian Counter-Strike scene. Do you think they have it in them here to drop ACME?
Well, they do certainly have potential, Shade. That's without a doubt. In fact, you'd see the amount of potential they had back when they were District 9 as well. But now under a new roster, it's of course the two players that did transition over from District 9 who could potentially give these few new players a taste of what experience is and how best they can be molded to try and contest for the big dogs, like you said. So I definitely have high expectations walking in for BHAMRAT Gaming, especially in a tournament like this, where they might be up against a couple of newer teams, right? But we know a couple of these players have that factor of having more experience, which sometimes when the games get as close as they did in the game prior, will pay off absolutely massively in both keeping your nerves cool and making the right call when it needs to be done.
Indeed, man. BHAMRAT Gaming, moving into this, they're going to be high on confidence here. Bahubali Vishwa, AK Bombas, we've seen these guys bring out their A game, and we've seen them play quite a bit recently on Mirage as well. This map is going to be back on Mirage for this best of one, so they're pretty much in their comfort zone, OG.
Yeah, that's one area of a little doubt, right? We've seen when there are two teams with equivalent firepower, with equal team play, and much more of those other elements. Having people play in their comfort zone is a big no-no, because that's where it'll be very hard to spot out those minute errors and try punishing them. On maps where it requires them to be a little more proactive, maps such as Nuke and Vertigo, where rotations play a massive and pivotal role on how the T side and the CD side dictate the pace of the round, there, the area of punish is far wider. So having Mirage in certainly might be a disadvantage for BHAMRAT Gaming, at least in my opinion. But hey, there's a lot that the match is going to say that we simply can't, and boy, I'm excited to get deep in the action. It's going to be ACME on the CD side, while BHAMRAT Gaming start off on the T with a P250 investment alongside a flash. Now, this quick flank coming in from underpass might yield them results, considering they are holding onto the site for a fairly large amount of time. Although Start Gaming really needed a little more there and try to contribute. In fact, they're setting up for this flank, where B2 is expecting to be completely isolated. It's not going to be the case, and he ends up going down for it. A 3 versus 2. Bahubali is dead low, and Genius finds an absolutely crucial shot. Bahubali finishes all the job he started, and it's all left on a Vishwa. We've seen this man go above and beyond, but sadly, he gets shut down here on the pistol. 1-0, and this might be the reason why I said you cannot allow some of these players to be on their comfort zone, Shade. It simply might not pan out for you in the end.
Well, BHAMRAT Gaming make a meal of that post-plant situation. They had the numbers. That fight towards short went on for quite a bit of time. Both players missing a fair bit of bullets there with their pistols, but the CT is coming out of on top with the numbers. 1v2. Bahubali unable to clutch that out for BHAMRAT Gaming, but aggression through mid here with the SMG. B2 peeks out. He's got quite a few players ahead of him, and he's going to get traded away. CT's surprisingly attack there with just the one single player. Probably on a suicide mission to try and scout for additional information early in the round. that has, however, surrendered mid-control back over to BHAMRAT Gaming. Casey's using the smoke though.
Oh, he spots the head. Pop goes a weasel. Mind you, this is going to be BHAMRAT Gaming on the Hero AK, which they did drop over to Bahubali. So they certainly are looking to do a little more impact here, right? If not even win the round. Perhaps by boiling the time down, they're expecting that inexperience on ACME to perhaps give them a kill. But again, that's a stretch. Right now with that man advantage, ACME look more than comfortable to play just flat out passive, not even offer an aim duel for the matter of fact. The spray down, the mow down, the meat sandwich. And it's filled with blood and horror. 2-0. BHAMRAT Gaming on the back of that hero he cannot convert. A save here would be a conventional call to make, considering Bahubali could just force into the AK with that utility, and Angry and Visual will be the only players who might be able to get a little alongside. But it seems like they want to go the unconventional route. They want to force back into this round. Do you see this panning out, Sheet? Because I feel like this might be a minor misplay coming from BHAMRAT Gaming. If they're not able to pull this one out of the bag, it's going to be ACME, in fact, with a significant lead to show for in the first half. Oh, no. That's a massive whip. Massive whip indeed. But Rez still ends up finding... Was he on top of the ladder there? How did he spree so accurately? That doesn't seem to matter as Vishwa gets both the openers. He wants the spray down right ahead of him, but he's only able to capitalize on a one. In fact, it's Vishwa who's kept BHAMRAT Gaming alive here in this round. Saigema ends up going down in the white swing from Bahubali, leaving it all on a KC. He knows exactly where these two players are, and the nade, it's an absolute nail biter. Ooh, the flick around, can't land a frag. Both these players so low. In turn, Casey's down to 19 HP. Bahubali, smart in repositioning towards default, should be able to swing wide as soon as he hears Casey towards sandwich. And this should be done and dusted. In fact, Bahubali playing a game of cat and mouse. At the end, you really do not want to see what happens to the mouse, do you?
Well, the player at CT with the big whiff there, he needed to get more than just the one kill. And an aggressive push through the smoke attempted as well as the C4 was being planted. The timing was way off. If he goes for the push while the plant's being stuck, he maybe has an additional 1 or 2 seconds to readjust, but the push comes in a tad bit too late and hands a frag free over to BHAMRAT Gaming, allowing them to bring that down to a 2v2 post-plant situation. And it's back. The honors is back onto Genius here, has the deagle in hand.
So far, what do you think that BHAMRAT Gaming are doing wrong, though? Why do you feel like they're a little behind in terms of rounds? Although now they might have a resurgence, they need to be careful against these decals, Shade. We keep saying this on multiple occasions, but on a map like Mirage, where it's easy to double down on this kind of positions, it just makes the deagle all the more lethal, right? Do you feel like right now BHAMRAT Gaming needs to do something out of the box before ACME come in with the buy round?
I believe they're just going to look to try and keep as many rifles up here and ensure that the two remaining players don't really recover any of those dropped weapons for now. Looks like the C's are more than happy to take the fight offered as the CTs come charging in with the pistols.
Yeah, it's a Hail Mary play, and they're just hoping to get something in the way of damage, whereas it's BHAMRAT Gaming who have managed to get their hands on the 3 remaining rifles. So far, BHAMRAT Gaming certainly have started their resurgence. And I feel like this might just be the rinse and repeat of the match prior, Shade, where a team initially comes in with that success, but the more experienced players do end up getting rewarded.
Yeah, the similarities I see here is the fact that teams are able to get ahead, but aren't really able to hold on to that for much longer. There's always a fair bit of back and forth in between rounds. And I think that is down to consistency and the fact that you constantly need to keep your opponents guessing, even if you're winning these rounds. Sticking to a pattern only shows your opponents your cards and allows them to accordingly readjust in the subsequent rounds, and that's exactly what we've seen here. BHAMRAT Gaming. 2 to 2.
They do have that man disadvantage, and they're trying to commit on the back of that man disadvantage towards the B side. It's all going to be reliant here on the entry shade. They need to make sure that headed into this B side, when they come out of the aim duels, they need to be the ones with at least the man neutralizer, because there is still a couple of flashes left. There's a molly left on a Genesis, and there's still the defuse kit. So time not going to be that big of a problem. It's going to be the numbers. In fact, with the Molotov disposed, it does a lot of damage on the entry. Mombo's white swing towards Get Right, but he is just so overwhelmed with the MP9 close range. ACME, they don't even sweat, not even losing a single player on the defense duty. So far, BHAMRAT Gaming, they're the ones who have a little more pressure on their belt, right? Because they're the players who are more renowned in the scene compared to ACME. Right now, if you're ACME, you're just going to be doing the flashbang dance and enjoying life while you take the lead away from BHAMRAT Gaming. And if they do manage to take the round shade, they potentially could take away the economy as well.
Standard defensive setup here from ACME. They've liked to keep Resnov almost always aggressive here towards Palace, and they lose back up pretty fast early on. An aggressive play attempted here from ACME. Cost Genius's play, and the A side defense gets completely unlocked, leaving B2 alone up at CT. But what can he do at this point of time? He's got a smoke flash bang, but with how thin the numbers are right now,
yeah, he needs to come up stellar with frags. He even has to give ACME a chance back at this one. And AK, God. Oh, he hears both of them. Should know the blast player's position. And that is just luck. That is just timing, hitting ACME at the worst time. That early frags, though, definitely did get collected by BHAMRAT Gaming just due to pure intuition. They knew exactly how the defense was being set up. That late lurk towards underpass is really paying off dividends, Shade, and this is not the first round where I've seen that work, right? We saw that initially in the pistol as well, but the pistol went the completely other direction. BHAMRAT Gaming, they've come in with that strat book towards mine where they try to get the late abuse towards mid, whilst the site gets hit towards the 30-second mark. They're seeing if ACME do dispose of the utility early, and if you're up against Eagles, do you really want to test this? You really want to test this? Did you end up trading the frags towards side, but they're still at a man disadvantage and the close push. Resnov, he has a 10-second window there. As soon as the smoke dissipates, he'll be a little short when it comes to cover. And the flank coming in from Psy Gaming. Are they going to turn tail and head towards the A side here? Are BHAMRAT Gaming pulling off what I feel like would be a big bamboozle? I feel like ACME are ready though, with the rotation coming in from B2. They have more than a fair idea that this is a maneuver that BHAMRAT Gaming will be comfortable taking. B2 positioning himself to deny that early rotate through murder hole, but will he account for the... Yeah, I think he's heard both of them through CT. B2, in fact, going to go for the peak, tries to get a lucky shot, and Bahubali... Oh, why? Why did B2 even try to do that? A huge misplay, giving them a chance back at this one. BHAMRAT Gaming find that man neutralizer, and they just play this one to perfection. They're playing for the post plan. In fact, Bahubali peaks and down to res. A huge disaster now. BHAMRAT Gaming. Not what we expected to see, Shade. ACME, where you'd assume that they get control of this half. BHAMRAT Gaming have replied back in kind. Beautiful shot by Psycho, but he would not have an inkling as to where AK is playing from. In fact, AK getting away sound, and this time sticked far too low. AK clutches it out, but this was just a deal investment. They got a free op, and they took every single man from BHAMRAT Gaming down.
Three to four. The buy comes in for ACME. AWP still out with the 4 rifles, very light on utility though. Just the few smokes, the 1 incendiary, 1 HE. No aggressive stance posted here as BHAMRAT Gaming are going to go for a fast beat yet again. Straight into the arms of Psy Gamer there. They get the first, but they're getting thinned in numbers here. They will be able to bring out the plant here unless the CDs want to try and push the smoke, which would be pretty risky at this point of time. They just want to shore up the numbers, wait for the T's to be the ones to make the move. He's just about barely managing to get the bench, and Angry is just going to get overwhelmed up. Vishwa sprays all over the place there, and ACME make good on the retake. BHAMRAT, the quick B hit needed them to get that opening frag very fast, but Psy Gamer able to step up with the 2 frags on the entry, setting up ACME for that retake. OG.
Beautifully so as well. ACME 4-4, and so far this game is providing shade. Coming into this match, coming in today, I expected both the games, in fact, to be very down at the wire. The previous game, like you said, the scoreline didn't do it justice, right? It came down way closer in Dust 2 than the scoreline did suggest, and it seems to be a similar case in Overpass, except for it's heated right from the very start here. ACME, the clear underdogs in this matchup, but they are clearly showing that they are here and they are ready to bring in the heat. BHAMRAT Gaming, they have 2 Galils. Not a position you want to be in on the T side, but we've seen ACME get caught off guard, especially when the time boils down, right? That is what you'd attribute more to its experience and calm nerves, which ACME might be a little short on shade. It's gonna boil down to the next minute now, as BHAMRAT Gaming have been more than comfortable with flirting with danger here. Vishwa, is he gonna buy bait towards B? Because the setup is towards connector and A. In fact, Reznov will push towards Palace and assume it's gonna be clear, and the B side's gonna be the one to receive. Genius. He's gonna be getting that first frag. The B fake discovered. Reznov position still concealed. BHAMRAT Gaming should have this in the back of their mind though, considering that they've not had a single man connect to Palace, that there could be a man who's playing aggressive there. They in fact molly it out as well, so they certainly are aware of that possibility. And B2, he's buying the perfect distraction. He's kept all the eyes of BHAMRAT towards CT, and Reznov, he whiffs. That is the entire setup here on the CT side, and now the frags end up going the other way. BHAMRAT Gaming starting to stabilize in the post plant, and this turns into quite the contrary shade, where BHAMRAT Gaming still will be able to pull this one back. Psy Gamer, he needs to get this frag, but an absolutely massive frag won out by Angry. Sadly, his teammates do fall in the downtime, and ACME, considering how much they've set up for that Palace flank, that could have costed them dearly, Shade.
Indeed, it would have. BHAMRAT Gaming looked like they were in a very good position to prevent ACME from that retake, but the CT hold kind of goes down for BHAMRAT very easily. The player from connector pushed it as much as he can. B2, surprising miss here, goes for the re-peek. Lucky that he didn't get punished peeking it multiple times, but Genius is able to make things work here. He's got 2 sprays, make that a third with Reznov setting up with the crossfire. Bahubali, 12 HP, is going to be left all on his own.
Flash, for now, deters him on the peak. 12 HP is all that he has remaining. ACME now will be able to take the lead. And by lead, I mean a very comfortable one in that as well, because with 6 rounds on the CT side and potentially having that opportunity to... Oh, Bahubali. He has 50 seconds that he spotted Reznov, which means there's a huge leak in the defense. Oh, slice and dice. Here's a... Oh, no! No!
Oh, no!
What? Oh, boy. Shade, if you had to put that into one word, what would that one word be? Because I certainly do not have as much vocabulary to even describe that amount of pain that Bahubali is going through.
Yeah, that would pretty much be damn. That was
Kind
so
of, huh?
close. Yeah. I mean, besides the fun aspect of it, that would have meant quite a bit of money to Bahubali
Maybe
there
even a
for the
knob.
knife. Yeah, so I wouldn't really fault him for trying to attempt that, but they weren't
Kudos to him.
really.
You rarely see that happen in tournaments. It does make for really good kills, but it does make for great bloopers as well. I guess he knew what he's headed into before he committed to it. This defense, though, is standing strong for ACME. Simply outdueling BHAMRAT Gaming, which coming into this game, I really didn't expect shit. I didn't expect BHAMRAT Gaming would be tested to such a degree. The one thing I love about this tournament so far is every team who's progressed in the tournament so far has been tried and tested to reach it into such a phase, right? Especially with matchups like these, it really puts what we consider at least experienced players a run for their money.
And it does look like Bombas is going to set himself up here towards kitchen, and he's going to run the timer down. He does have the C4, but the CTs are going to keep the numbers strong here towards B. The jump spot should give it away. AWP does get the tag, and that, oh no, it actually is still down to 4 HP. So on second thought, Bombas has been spotted out. He's going to try and jiggle peek, get that headshot, not going to find it. It was just going to be a matter of time with Genius coming in with the backstab from apartments as well. 7-4. ACME starting to pull away in this one. 4 consecutive rounds now. BHAMRAT Gaming. Not enough money in the bank for a full buy, but maybe a pistol armor rush to try and get a plant in. They have tried the B side a couple of times now to try and play it fast. Hasn't worked out though. The A side, however, has been a different story, except for that one hold towards Palace. By and large, BHAMRAT Gaming have been able to find weaknesses in the ACME defense there. AWP out. They're going to continue to push through the smoke, but Casey is there with the numbers. That's not going to work. Swift round. CTs able to put that anti-eco behind them with barely any damage taken. 8-4. BHAMRAT Gaming straight back onto the buy. AWP. I don't think they have the money to invest in this round. They can maybe go for a glass cannon one if they want to. Oh, in fact, it is AK who buys an AWP, gives it over to Bahubali. So they do have the op to contest the one on BP on the other side. Let's see if he's looking to take this towards mid though. This has been something BHAMRAT Gaming have shown presence towards pretty often.
What do you think BHAMRAT Gaming are doing wrong here, though? Like, they are headed into this matchup without a doubt the favored team to take this one home, yet they're struggling here on that T side. They still have a chance to get back in this without a doubt, but what would be the difference that you would like to bring in if you were on the side of BHAMRAT Shade?
I think the setup to try and get the opener just hasn't been there.
Again,
Right there, BHAMRAT Gaming set up towards A main, but I'm not really sure what they were trying to achieve with that though. ACME.
Yeah, they were hoping that the peak wouldn't come in on the back of that Molotov as they were split. And if you do use a smoke there, Shade, you essentially give the jig up, right? That there is presence towards ramp, and that surprise element for the entry to work out just goes out the window. The fact of the matter is, there should have been a flash accompanying that peak, and he should have just taken it regardless of the Molotov. Holding that Molotov was the move that punished him ultimately, and now Genius comes in with the jump peak. The rotation should be in, and the backstab's in from Cygamer as well. The four-man defense towards the ace side. The flash comes in for the peak from Rez, but he's playing patient. He actually jumps on top and fights the man towards balance. Completely unexpected stuff coming in from the CT side as the defense is just so volatile. In the matter of moments, Shade, BHAMRAT Gaming to, that's a peaceful ace side to, damn, what the hell just happened?
They walked into a perfect crossfire setup there. ACME able to readjust as the hit is coming in towards outsider Palace there. He's able to find one and more importantly, hold BHAMRAT Gaming pretty much stuck in place there for that push to come in from jungle, and they lose the mid fight yet again. B2, crucial opener. Reznov peeks back out through connector. ACME, they've been allowed to do this far too easily time and again, OG, without the punish coming in.
Ooh, psycho. That looked a little scary considering there was a two-man setup towards mid. Yet, BHAMRAT Gaming are struggling to find these kind of refrags, right? Which we have accustomed to see top-tier teams do. Their spacing seems a little bit off. ACME, their aggression, always unexpected by the side of BHAMRAT Gaming. So far, add to disrespect. Just a quick peek towards mid, yielding a headshot with the op. And out of nowhere, Shade, ACME with 10 rounds on the board heading towards the last round of the half, where BHAMRAT Gaming's investment, it looks below what we'd consider even good, Shade. Because the utility is not that great. The Galils are out, not a single AK up on the board. In fact, Angry having to downgrade to a Deagle. Things have not looked this bleak for BHAMRAT Gaming in a while. And they really need a resurgence here. They really need some sort of love. But the only love they're getting is a spanking, and that's from ACME.
This contest towards connector has been pretty disappointing from the teams. They line up.
Why? I mean, the smoke was there to focus towards B short, yet you were focusing in on the smoke, and the peek through B short comes in regardless. The entire strat there was to pincer towards short, right? Why is the first man in looking towards the back? There was not even a flash setup there. And ACME, they've been so on point with their punish as well. Take no credit away from them. They've played an absolutely lights out CD side so far. The patience that they have coming in is not something I expected to see, Shade. They look like a very composed lineup, whereas BHAMRAT Gaming on the other hand, they're the ones who are looking a little dry here, where we expected this to go the way of BHAMRAT without a doubt.
BHAMRAT were leading 4-3 after the first 7 rounds, and it's been 8 consecutive rounds since going the way of ACME. Surprised that BHAMRAT Gaming didn't call a single timeout throughout the entirety of that first half, and they've just let ACME roll with the punches, and now they find themselves with a significant disadvantage, most of which can be cut down here with a pistol round win. Let's see if ACME, however, can carry forth that form that they've had on their CT side here, because they take the pistol. BHAMRAT Gaming, they're in serious trouble.
I mean, but hey, just to paint the fair picture here, Shade, BHAMRAT Gaming, even if they do win the pistol, have a lot of work ahead of them. The margin for error here is very, very low. But like you said, Shade, there's still a good chance that they could come back in at this one. It's all going to come down to, yet again, experience and maintaining those cool nerves that you need in matches like these. And Mombus starting things off with style, double headshot towards mid. This is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, double headshot towards mid. The push to B does have only the one CT in position, as Bahubali trying to click does miss quite a few there, but he's got back up in Angry on the site. The T's are kind of stuck here at the moment. Angry not really making a move just yet, but he's getting pushed very fast here. They have control of bench as well. What? They lose the numbers. And Cygamer and Casey, they've made this happen. Mombas.
Oh no, the backstab, Vishwa, that is their opening, and they've let it go. BHAMRAT Gaming, it's a disaster. What did we just see, Shade? it's one thing to pull off an upset, but it's a completely different thing to do it in such a dominant fashion. Some of these players here, I might not even know, but boy, have their names, at least in this tournament, be plated in gold, because the stuff they're doing here is no joke. It's not easy, Shade. They're making it look so easy, and making it quite the contrary here for BHAMRAT Gaming. Did you ever envision a scoreline like this headed into this game? Because I certainly didn't.
The flashbangs coming through, the rush.
Oh,
Wait, they have not spotted the player there. Reznov, however, ensures there is no blip thereafter. Cygamer should be a straightforward cleanup. The CTs don't really have much to offer in terms of firepower. Flashbang does come through. But markets where the CTs are holding in numbers, the smoke's going to dissipate, and with that, they should be forced out into the open here. 1v2 though, they've been able to boil it down. With the UMP, he's got no armor, however.
it's going to be an almost impossible ask. The peak, the bait and switch, the information game, that absolutely down to the wire from ACME. And you see this kind of disciplined gameplay, right? Where they're not taking the huge risk that other teams take, where, especially in this kind of cutthroat tournament, right? Best of one single elimination up until the semifinals. They are making sure that they have their I's dotted, their T's crossed, and their alphabets down to the last brain cell. Because they will need these ABCs if they are to pull off similar upsets later on, right? We keep talking about a couple of teams lacking fundamentals when it comes to face off against a couple of these monsters. It seems like ACME, they've done pretty well in their CT side. Their defaults looked absolutely stellar. The way they took aggression was a beauty to watch. And BHAMRAT Gaming, barely given any skin to even survive. For now, this potentially could be the last solid buy they post in the tournament. This has gotten me to a point where any team, right, headed into a matchup can pull this kind of magic. Boy, is it gonna be one hell of a season, especially considering that Counter-Strike is being on the grow. This quarantine gets a whole lot more fun, Shade.
Well, ACME prying for the opener here. They have control of mid, and they're gonna take mid with the C4. Short there for a second, but looks like they're gonna eventually rotate back towards the A side. Might just be a mistake here. They're holding strong. The CT is committing 3 players very early on the defense. Mumbas towards jungle, Vishwa playing under Palace, AK towards CT. Looking at the utility on the T side, it is one smoke and a nade. They've got nothing here, OG. They're gonna have to hit this high and dry. Not the ideal situation. Oh, the flash comes in and Vishwa. Oh no, a big whiff coming through, and AK has been smoked out. So has Bahubali. All they can do is wait here.
Wait.
Bahubali through the smokes. He still manages to click and find 2. Big opportunity back in here for BHAMRAT Gaming. Angry tries to jump the gun. No plant coming in just yet though. C4 has been recovered, and KC thinking about it twice here before he can plant in, and without the smoke, there's no way AK doesn't punish this. KC's holding the angle on the other side. He's not going down to genius.
But it doesn't connect. The lethal blow not given. No utility though on the side of ACME, so it's going to be very hard to reposition. They need to work on the back of what they have right now, which is a decent crossfire from triple through default. In fact, there's going to be Firebox hell from Genius, where you can watch the peek through stairs. Bahubali is the one who stacks them below though, and now the crossfire broken apart, and we knew exactly how the cards were being played. 13 of 5. Does it get any closer than this? Because if it does, How? How can BHAMRAT Gaming even try to survive this comeback? It boiled down to the 2 versus 2 there, which was very doable, Shade, considering that Bahubali was such low HP. If I'm not wrong, that was Reznov towards the plant, right? If Reznov swung wide there and actually got that engagement down at the belt, it would have been a 1 versus 1 or even possibly a 1 versus 2 there, which would have absolutely crushed the hopes and dreams of BHAMRAT Gaming. So it'll be pistols out though in this round where it's just free frags. Claimed by BHAMRAT. They're trying to force down a plant here. BHAMRAT on their CT defense against pistols emerged flawless. They still have 7 rounds to grind their way back into this matchup and potentially find the equalizer. And hey, 1 plus point here is ACME. They're the ones with no timeout. And BHAMRAT have just used, in fact, haven't used a single one. So they have a decent bit of timeouts left. They have a lot of ground to cover. And they can take this step by step, breath by breath, without stressing their nerves all that much.
13-6, the buy does come in back for ACME, but again they're going to be light on utility. Could have probably saved another round to ensure that they give themselves the best chance of closing things out here. You don't really want to be letting BHAMRAT Gaming pick up any sort of form here at this point of time in this matchup. They've got it locked in, and they don't really want the CTs sniffing their way back into this right now. OG early control of short from Bahubali, leaving pretty much Angry all alone here in the jump spot. T's line up here for this B hits. They've stuck for a 3-2 split on the defense, have BHAMRAT. Angry takes a much more defensive position towards the site. And Bahubali has moved out of position way too far and has left Angry with an all to do. He does eventually join back in and he's got the one, can't swing back in the nick of time.
Crucial timing there, where ACME strike at the perfect moment. BHAMRAT Gaming are quick on the rotate, but a man disadvantage and it being the B side. Yeah, it's far from doable. They're gonna give it out there all though, and through the smoke. Just brutal is the massacre that ACME are trying to close it out here. And it's been a massacre throughout the game, right? It's not like BHAMRAT were in control for a significant bit. In fact, it's BHAMRAT who are trying to scramble rounds from here and there, where ACME, they've been the ones who have been in the driver's seat so far. 14-6. On the verge of hitting map and match point. The second smoke disposed as well. The rush towards A made pretty blatant. A 3-man defense, the rotation a little delayed, and the T side aggressive to take control for the post plan. Mombos does get the first on Genius. They should be able to get the plant down fairly easily, but Bahubali, nobody had eyes towards CT. The 2-man disadvantage now, and B2 tech desperately low, but Psycho, what a bait, what a fake. There needs to be second eyes here though, as AK, no! Psycho, what an absolute madman! Double fake? No wonder he got this name. I'm certainly believing him now. He is not lying when he says the name builds the game. KC White swing down spell. And the HP on a BHAMRAT so dead low. The man advantage neutralized. The kit on Tubishwa, but B2 try to hold on to it. There should be enough time for Mombos to stick the defuse and to draw this ordeal out. Right now, I'll be very honest, Shade, ACME, they're darn near close to victory and they sniff it. They're going to be hungry for this. The bomb plant will allow them to buy yet another round with B2 having to degrade down at the Deagle. The initial pick, that's what ACME have been getting, and hey, if it's going to be on the back of that, B2 might just get a free gun to work with later on, so not as big of a point to worry upon. In fact, a lot of this pressure is going to be on a BHAMRAT, where their weaponry is not that great. An MP9, a UMP, and a FAMAS. Utility is going to be decent, and they have 2 defuse kits, so they certainly could be playing for the retake. ACME, though, so far, a really good showing on the T side.
Well, Bahubali, they've had flashes of brilliance in these rounds, but they haven't really been able to win too much of them on the trot. They've managed to pick up, if I'm not mistaken, 3 of the last 12 rounds. And
Ooh! No! Genius! Oh! This is just the undoing of BHAMRAT. AK given a chance, but not more than an inch to work with. Vishwa is all that survives. Bound to be 15 ACME. A name that so far, for both of us in fact, has been unheard of. Have come in with a pretty huge statement shade. They have it in them to not only be underdogs, but also dark horse material. They certainly are showing us a really refined Mirage here today, especially on the T side, where they're able to catch BHAMRAT Gaming, even on a completely passive stance, so off guard. I'm not sure if I can attribute the success to timing or luck or whatever factor there may be, but one thing is for sure, ACME have pulled off quite the big upset here for us today, Shade.
8 match points. The odds heavily stacked in their favor. BHAMRAT Gaming now. The buy is barely anything, OG. Just the 1 scout and upgraded pistols. It's gonna have to come down to a few miracles, but the push through Palace yields nothing. Mombas.
What a miracle, Shade. It's a curse for BHAMRAT Gaming right now. The first pick, if I'm not wrong, in the 3 rounds that we did see prior, it's been ACME coming on top of every single one of them. The man disadvantage, the weaponry disadvantage, the utility disadvantage. It is just one dark tunnel that they're heading down towards. 2 men. Make it only 1. It's only Bahubali with the scout. The name is synonymous with strength, but it requires more than just strength to win that clutch. ACME 16-7. We expected this to be a very close matchup, Shade, but this was one of the biggest upsets I could think so far, because throughout the entire course of that match, it didn't look like ACME were even pushed out of their comfort zone, which is something pretty commendable coming in from a team. Again, I've been reinstating this because it's so flabbergasting that they managed to get this comeback, and not comeback, they managed to get this upset. There's going to be celebrations out of this. I'm pretty sure about that for a fact.
Yeah, and something that we did not foresee at the beginning, OG, it was ACME not only winning it, but in a convincing manner that they did. Just to put a stat out there, they won 13 of the last 16 rounds in that matchup. It looked very back and forth at the beginning, with BHAMRAT Gaming leading 4-3 at one point of time, only to end up 7-16. And I think most of that came down to BHAMRAT Gaming just playing super fast and not really taking the time to readjust. No timeouts were called in that entire first half from BHAMRAT Gaming. So considering that they were on a downward spiral after the initial few rounds, I think it was probably time for the IGL, to have put things to a halt and say, hey guys, things are not just working out. We're going to have to change things up a bit. But yeah, this is just one of those BO1s where you get kind of tunnel visioned in. You want to continue going with the flow. You just want to play fast, and doesn't really work out at the end. ACME though, huge congratulations in store for these guys. They move on. to the next round here in the Dell Futurist Presents Alienware Level Up Challenge. I'm Shade Slayer. That is OG, the Low-Res Chicken. For all the viewers who are tuning in, who have a passion for gaming and want to pursue a career in it, sign up with us for the Dell Futurist platform. It's the absolute best place for you to get all the information regarding what are the various opportunities available in the world of gaming and esports, arts, music, and sustainability. Do check out the mentor sessions online as well on the Dell India and Alienware socials for the various opportunities that are available in the field of gaming and esports. There's also a brand new Alienware and Dell Gaming G Series laptop coming out this week, so do check out their social to stay updated on what's happening there. For now though, it is goodbye from both of us here today. Hope you guys have had a wonderful start to the week here. We'll be back again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. with more CSGO action. Until then, keep gaming.